Noah and Alex had been friends since they were little kids, growing up in the same neighborhood and attending the same schools. Now, both enrolled in university, their bond had only grown stronger as they shared a small apartment together to save on expenses. They spent most of their free time playing video games, competing against each other, and just generally goofing off. One sunny afternoon, they were engrossed in a particularly intense session of their favorite fighting game. Noah's character had managed to land an impressive combo, leaving Alex's character stunned and vulnerable. "Ha, looks like you're gonna need to level up if you want to beat me, buddy," Noah teased playfully, a wide grin spreading across his face. Alex scowled, his fingers flying over the controller as he tried to recover his character's health. "You're just lucky," he grumbled, but there was no real animosity in his voice. As they continued to play, Noah noticed that Alex had become more and more competitive over the last few months. He attributed it to the pressure of university life, but as they played, Noah began to wonder if there wasn't something else at play. The way Alex would clench his jaw, the fierceness with which he fought it seemed almost personal. Noah decided to tease him about it after their latest match ended in a tie. "Hey, you cheated," he cried, pretending to be outraged as he leaped from his seat and lunged at Alex, playfully trying to wrestle him into submission. Alex laughed and tried to wriggle free, but Noah was relentless, pinning him down to the couch with a mock-menacing glare. "You're disqualified," he declared dramatically, straddling Alex's waist and holding his arms down with one hand while keeping eye contact with him. Alex laughed again, but it was less boisterous this time. There was a hint of uncertainty beneath the surface. He stared back at Noah, his eyes locked onto his friend's. For a moment, they simply held each other's gaze, neither moving or speaking. Noah's heart raced as he felt the weight of Alex's body beneath him, their faces mere inches apart. He could see the way Alex's chest rose and fell with each breath, and he could feel the heat radiating from his friend's skin. It was a moment that seemed to stretch on forever, filled with unspoken words and emotions that had been building between them for years. And then, without warning, everything changed. Alex's expression shifted, his eyes darkening with a mix of frustration and something else, something that Noah couldn't quite place. Slowly, Alex pushed his leg up against Noah's thigh, feeling the heat of his friend's body against his own. Noah's breath hitched in his throat as he felt the pressure of Alex's leg. As if Alex was trying to communicate something without words, Noah's mind raced, trying to process what was happening. He had always known that there was a connection between them, something deeper than friendship, but he had never dared to acknowledge it. Now, as Alex's leg pressed against him, he felt a rush of desire that he couldn't ignore. Noah's gaze flickered down to Alex's lips, and he felt a sudden urge to close the distance between them. He leaned in slightly, his heart pounding in his chest as he searched Alex's eyes for any sign of what he was thinking. Alex's breath caught in his throat as he felt Noah's weight shift, his friend's face drawing closer. He could see the uncertainty in Noah's eyes, but also a flicker of something else, a desire that mirrored his own. Alex's heart raced as he realized that he wanted this, wanted Noah in a way that went beyond friendship. He had been fighting these feelings for so long, afraid of what it would mean for their friendship. But now, with Noah so close, he couldn't hold back any longer. Alex continued pushing back against Noah, his body responding instinctively to the pressure of Noah's weight. He felt a rush of adrenaline as he flipped their positions, pinning Noah down on the couch instead. The sudden shift caught Noah off guard, and he gasped in surprise as Alex straddled him, their faces now mere inches apart. Their hips pressed together, and Noah could feel Alex's arousal against his own. Alex's hands gripped Noah's wrists, holding them down on either side of his head as he leaned in closer, their breaths mingling in the small space between them. He slowly started to rhythmically press his hips against Noah's, the friction sending waves of pleasure coursing through both of them. Noah's eyes widened in shock, but he didn't resist. Instead, he felt a thrill of excitement at the unexpected turn of events. He had never imagined that Alex would take the lead like this, but now that it was happening, he couldn't deny the rush of desire that surged through him. Noah's heart raced as he looked up at Alex, his mind racing with a mix of confusion and exhilaration. "Alex, what are you doing?" he managed to ask, his voice barely more than a whisper. Alex paused for a moment, his gaze locked onto Noah's. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice low and husky. "Tell me to stop." Noah shook his head, his breath coming out in short gasps. "No, don't stop," he replied, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. Alex's expression softened at Noah's words, and he leaned down to press his lips against Noah's, their mouths meeting in a tentative kiss that quickly deepened into something more passionate. Noah's hands instinctively moved to Alex's hips, pulling him closer as their bodies pressed together, the heat between them growing with each passing second. Alex pulled back slightly, his forehead resting against Noah's as he searched his friend's eyes. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Noah nodded, his heart pounding in his chest. "I am," he replied, his voice steady, more than sure. With that affirmation, Alex leaned in again, capturing Noah's lips in another kiss that was filled with urgency and desire. Their hands roamed over each other's bodies, exploring every inch of skin as they lost themselves in the moment. Noah's fingers traced the contours of Alex's back, feeling the muscles tense beneath his touch as Alex's hands moved to Noah's chest, his fingers brushing over the fabric of his shirt before slipping beneath it to caress the warm skin underneath. Noah gasped at the sensation, his body responding eagerly to Alex's touch. He could feel the heat radiating from Alex, and it only fueled his own desire. The world around them faded away as they focused solely on each other, their bodies moving in perfect harmony as they explored this new territory together. As they kissed, the intensity of their passion grew, and Noah felt himself becoming lost in the moment. He had never felt anything like this before, the way Alex's lips moved against his, the way his hands roamed over his body, igniting a fire within him that he had never known existed. It was as if they were two pieces of a puzzle that had finally found their perfect fit, and Noah couldn't help but revel in the feeling of being so close to someone he cared about so deeply. As they continued to kiss, Noah's hands moved to the hem of Alex's shirt, pulling it up and over his head, revealing the toned muscles beneath. Alex shivered at the sensation of Noah's hands on his skin, and he responded by reaching for the buttons on Noah's shirt, quickly undoing them one by one until his friend's chest was bare before him. The sight of Noah's body, the way his skin glistened with sweat from their earlier wrestling match, sent a jolt of desire through Alex. He leaned down to press his lips against Noah's chest, trailing kisses down his torso as he explored the contours of his friend's body with his mouth. Noah gasped at the sensation, his hands tangling in Alex's hair as he pulled him closer, urging him to continue his exploration. Alex's hands moved to Noah's waist, his fingers brushing against the waistband of Noah's jeans as he continued to kiss his way down. He could feel the heat radiating from Noah's body, and it only fueled his desire to explore further. As he reached Noah's jeans, he paused for a moment, looking up at his friend with a mixture of hesitation and excitement. "Are you sure you want to do this?" he asked, his voice low and filled with uncertainty. Noah nodded, his breath coming out in short gasps as he looked down at Alex. "Yes," he replied, his voice steady despite the racing of his heart. Alex smiled softly at Noah's words, feeling a rush of relief wash over him. He leaned down to press another kiss against Noah's lips before moving his hands to the waistband of Noah's jeans, slowly undoing the button and zipper before sliding them down over his hips. Noah's breath hitched in his throat as Alex's hands brushed against his skin, sending shivers of pleasure coursing through him. He felt exposed and vulnerable, but also exhilarated by the intimacy of the moment. As Alex slid Noah's jeans down his legs, he couldn't help but admire the sight before him, Noah's toned body, the way his skin glistened with sweat, and the look of desire in Noah's eyes. It was a sight that Alex had never imagined he would see, but now that it was happening, he couldn't deny the thrill of excitement that coursed through him.